another guitar. I know, I'm spoiling you. This is the Oscar Schmidt LT. So here in my hands, as mentioned, is the Oscar Schmidt LT. And as the name would unintentionally allude to, it is a very light guitar. So if you're looking for your first guitar, and especially if you're buying a guitar, say, for a child, this is a great option. They used a basswood body, which really does keep the weight down. This is very, very comfortable. And that does matter when you're dealing with your first guitar or when you're dealing with a kid. I can't tell you how many students I've had where they end up with a heavy guitar and they play it less because it's not as comfortable. Now, speaking of comfort, we've got a nice belly cut going on here. So despite the traditional shape of this guitar, it does fit the body quite nicely. They did a very, very good job on the neck. They've gone for a semi-gloss finish, which is definitely my preference. It's not that bare wood feel like you're going to get a splinter kind of feel, and it's not that sticky, over-polyed mess that some inexpensive guitars go for. While still nice attention to detail, they did gloss on the headstock, which is nice. A lot of times it's just whatever the finish is on the back of the neck. That's what we're going to put on the front. Yeah, nice attention to detail there. We have a new bone nut, so vegans rejoice, I guess. I don't mind having bone on my guitars, but your mileage may vary. The new bone, it's a step up from, say, something like just PVC pipe. Like, it is a plastic nut, but just a plastic designed to give a bit more of the feel and sound of having a bone nut, hence new bone. Fretwork, very, very nice. I'm deeply impressed at the fretwork on here. I've used guitars 2 to 3 times the price of this, that when you go to move the string back and forth, it feels like you're rubbing against sandpaper. These aren't glass finish, super high-end guitar kind of territory, but for this price point, I'm very impressed at how good of fretwork this guitar came with. Carrying on. We've got 2 single coil pickups. Now, that does mean if this is your first guitar, this is not ideal for high gain applications, high distortion. That you want those humbuckers, which is, they usually look like 2 pickups kind of next to each other. These ones, they are a single coil, so they will pick up some hum and interference from the room, but tend to sound brighter, a little clearer, etc. So there's trade-offs involved, and as long as you're playing, your country, your blues, your lighter rock, these are great. For a lot of other stuff, though, these actually sound really, really good, especially for stock pickups in this price range. If you want a really, really comfortable guitar and you want to swap these pickups out down the road, I know a guy who has guitars that are in the $1,000 plus range, that he has one of these as his go-to bar guitar because he threw some Seymour Duncans in it. He's not as worried about it getting scratched, dented, stolen, because it's a fairly inexpensive guitar, but it plays really good. It's super comfy. It's nice and light. And with the Seymour Duncans, it sounds just as good, if not better, than a bunch of the $1,000 plus guitars he has sitting in his living room. Don't expect the world from these pickups, but yeah, they are actually pretty darn good, and it does leave room for if you ever wanted to swap them out later on. On the bridge here, individual saddles, which are very nice to see on this style of bridge. I personally own a Sunset TC from Court, and I love the thing, don't get me wrong, but I am not 100% sold on its bridge design. It went for a really, really traditional barrel style saddle where the strings go over, and they're not individually adjusted. They're adjusted in groups of 2. Having individual adjustability in terms of height and in terms of intonation, which is how accurate the guitar is by adjusting essentially the length of the string from the nut to here. Individual saddles, just you can just set it up better. Yeah, so very happy to see that. And it is a string through body design. So the strings, they come through the back here, come out the top. Cool. You can also string them through the bridge if you prefer, which is how, again, they used to be done. So it can be really nice to have both of those options as well. Overall, I'm just really happy with these things. I've sold a bunch of them. They don't come back. They don't come back with problems. They don't come back with complaints. They just work. They look good. They sound good. They feel good. And at this price range, if you're looking for your first guitar, or again, for your first guitar for a kid, have these on your short list. Go and take a look at them in the store. You'll be pleasantly surprised at the quality you can get in this price range. It's pretty wild these days. And I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to hopefully review another guitar, maybe a mixer board. I don't know. Only one way to find out. That's why subscribing. I should ask you to do that earlier because, statistically, not everybody makes it this far. But you did. So thank you.